think Greece is a good enough example of the dangers of massive spending, maybe Puerto Rico's budget battle will hit closer to home. Unions continue violent protests against the government's steps to cut spending and heal the economy. Puerto Rico's Governor Luis Fortuño, he joins me now. Sir, how difficult has it been for you to pass any kind of austerity measures in Puerto Rico? Are you seeing a tremendous backlash down there?
Well, not really, in the sense that we inherited the largest state budget deficit in the country, proportionally speaking. It was 45% of our state budget. From 45% in 18 months, we have brought it down to 12%. We have made very tough decisions, but we had no choice.
But are you seeing protests? Are you experiencing street protests down there?
Well, let me tell you, the day the legislature was approving the budget by a 2-to-1 margin, university students tried to disrupt the conducting of normal operations at the state capitol, and I wish that had not happened. But let me tell you, because of the tough choices we have made, we will lower taxes across the board this year. We're going against the current, against what Washington is doing nowadays. At the same time, the same groups are opposing our public-private partnership legislation, which is extremely attractive, the best in the country, our streamlining of our permitting process. We have pro-growth policies, and that's exactly what the voters asked for. I campaign on a very clear platform of lowering taxes, shrinking the size of government, and making sure that we will grow our economy, and that's what we intend to do.
Governor, now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you have a 15% unemployment rate, but I think 1 out of 5 workers in Puerto Rico actually work for the government. Is that right?
Well, let me tell you, when I came in, it was upwards of 22, 24%. That has been coming down, and actually since January, we have generated jobs in the private sector as opposed to the public sector. That's where the jobs should be, and that's exactly what I told the voters in the largest margin in 44 years. That's what I told the voters I would do, and that's how the voters gave me a mandate to do.
All right, now, just given what you're experiencing in Puerto Rico, and you probably have seen what's going on in the United States and what's happening in Greece, do you think that what you see happening in places like California and Illinois, which has been steadily down, both states have been steadily downgraded by the credit rating agencies, do you see the problems getting worse here in the United States?
Well, let me tell you something. And again, we are part of America, but we are doing what we need to do. Actually, Moody's in the last month or so upgraded us as opposed to what's happening to other states. If states do what they need to do to balance their budgets as we're doing in Puerto Rico, you will be able to grow their economy, they'll be able to lower taxes as we will do this year, and they'll have a better rating.
You know, I'll tell you, a lot of these protesters are basically being fueled by government workers who don't like their pension cuts. You know, one analyst said to me, hell hath no pensioner, hell hath no fury like a pensioner scorned. But I don't know if you saw what Governor Chris Christie is doing in New Jersey. He's basically trying to now privatize. Are you trying to privatize as well? He's doing things to, you know, who would have thought that state employees would have to pay for their own parking spaces? He's asking for things as simple as that. Is that what you're seeing in your reforms?
Well, let me tell you, what we're doing right now is we are bringing government back to basics and to make it efficient and effective. We have to address as well, and we are addressing as well, in addition to the budget crisis that we inherited, we're addressing as well the pension area. I created a commission that is working on that, and certainly we will all have to chip in to address it. But I know Governor Christie, he's a courageous man, and he's doing the right thing. That's exactly what we've been doing for the last 18 months in Puerto Rico as well.
Which states do you think need to do what you've been doing?
Well, if you read around what's happening, over 40 states will have a state budget deficit this year. That cannot be sustained. I believe every state has to have a balanced budget and must have pro-growth policies. At least from my point of view, in Puerto Rico, we will not only be able to sustain our growth that we used to have before this crisis, but we'll be able to actually attract new businesses and jobs that may not be going to those states that are not making the right decisions.
All right. The Governor of Puerto Rico, Luis Fortuño, thank you so much for being with us tonight, sir. Really delighted you joined us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. Next up, a Fox Business Alert. Federal officials saying the oil